Hello students, and today in this video we'll be studying about business economics micro fourth unit part 1. Okay, so this is your last unit in your syllabus. So let's move. I'll be sharing a presentation with you. Yes, as you all know that online lectures are going on for Dr.D.Y.Patil College of Computer and Business Studies, Shahunagar, Pune. So let's begin. So it's your fourth unit, part 1 of your business economics micro. So here we'll study about production function and law of variable proportions, right? So let's understand that in economics, production theory explain the principles in which the business economics has to take decisions on how much of each commodity it sells and how much it produces, and of course also how much of raw material, that is the inputs, that is raw material, fixed capital, labor, it employs, and how much will it use. So it defines the relationship between the prices of the commodities and productive factors, right, on one hand, and the quantities of these commodities and productive factors that are produced on the other hand. So production is the process of combining various inputs to produce an output for consumption. So in this act of creating output in the form of a commodity or a service which contributes to the utility of an individual. So in other words, it is the process in which inputs are converted into outputs. That is production. So production analysis basically is concerned with the analysis in which the resources such as land, labor, capital are employed to produce a firm's final product. To produce these goods, the basic inputs are classified into two divisions, that is variable as well as fixed. Now, what are variable? Variable inputs are those inputs change. These inputs change or are variable in the short run or long run are variable inputs, and inputs that remain constant in the short run are fixed inputs. So variable changes, fixed remains constant. That is the thing you have to remember. So let's understand the production function. Production is an organized activity of converting inputs into output or creation of value and utility. You all know. So factors of production are like land, labor, capital, organization. Now each of these factors have rewards. Like for land you have to pay rent, for labor you have to pay wages, for capital you have to pay interest. You understand? So it states the relationship between inputs and outputs. Now inputs are the factors of production. Like land, like all natural resources of the earth, price paid to acquire land is rent. Labor, all physical and mental human efforts involved in production, and price paid to labor is wages. And capital is building, machinery and equipments used for the production process, and price paid for capital is interest. Yes, production function, if you see symbolically, it is Q is equal to F of KL, where Q is quantity of output, K is capital and labor. That means the output is the function of capital and labor employed. So production is an output that creates present or future utility. And production, of course, requires inputs like land, labor, capital, technology, energy, etc. And a production function describes how these inputs are transformed into outputs. Let's understand in the words of Samuelson. He says that the production function is the technical relationship between the maximum amount of output that can be produced by each and every set of specified inputs, right? So it is defined for a given state of technology. That is, for each different combination of inputs, the production function tells us the maximum quantity of output a firm can produce over some period of time. So let's understand it in the form of a diagram. So inputs are land, labor, capital. They are employed. They are put in the process of they are converted into product or services, and then we get the output. Understand? So the alternative inputs are the combined production function. The production process goes on, and then we get an output. This is simple production function. You understand? Now let's understand the law of variable proportions or production function with one variable input. Here one input will be variable, other will be constant. That is called law of variable proportions. Okay, so like before discussing the law, it is important to understand the meaning of following terms, right? Like total product, marginal product, average product. Now total product is what? Total output produced for a given amount of variable input. What is marginal product? The change in the total product as a result of unit change in the variable input. We have studied total cost, marginal cost, same logic. Average product is total product divided by quantity. This will be important for us to calculate the figures in the table. So remember what is marginal product and what is average product. Marginal is change in total product and average is TP divided by Q. Okay, you remember this. Okay, this is very important. Now, in the words of Bowling, what is the statement of the law? So as we increase the quantity of any one input, which is combined with a fixed quantity of other inputs, the marginal physical productivity of the variable input must eventually decline. That means MP will eventually decline. It is what says. Like every law of economics has some assumptions. This law also have assumptions, like very important to understand that techniques of production remain constant. There is no change in the techniques of production. There must be some inputs whose quantity is kept fixed. All units of variable inputs are exactly similar to each other. It is related to only to short run, and the government does not intervene into the economy, right? Now let's understand this in the form of a table. Now it's a 5-column table. If you remember these first 2 columns, remaining you can easily find out. So what if you remember? Number of laborers are variable inputs, 0 to 10. Total product TP, you have to remember this figure, 0, 14, 42, 75 and up to 190. Now let's calculate AP. AP will be what? TP upon Q. So 0 upon 0, 14 upon 1, 42 upon 2, right? And how will you calculate MP? It is a change in TP. 14 minus 0, 42 minus 14, 75 minus 42. So let's see. I've done it for you all. So this is how you get after you calculate whatever by the formula. So this particular law is divided into 3 stages. The first stage is increasing returns, second is diminishing returns, and third is negative returns. That is, you get increasing returns up to 5 units of labor employed. After you employ 6, there is diminishing returns, and after you apply 9 on 10, the returns are negative, right? So let's understand this relationship between AP and MP, right? So same table, from those the figures are taken and the graphs are plotted. When the graphs are plotted, you see TP in the first graph and AP and MP in the second one. Okay. Now after this graph is drawn, I have drawn the lines like this. Okay, where it cuts. Okay. So let's understand. Observe the table carefully as I read for you, as I interpret for you the table. Okay. So when AP rises as a result of an increase in the quantity of variable input, AP is rising, MP is more than AP. See in the second graph, MP graph is black line and AP graph is blue line. Okay, so see the MP graph is above AP graph. So when initially the inputs are increased, MP is above more than AP. When AP is maximum, MP is equal to AP at H dash. So in other words, the MP curve cuts the AP curve when AP is maximum at H dash. See the second graph, below graph. Can you see? So when AP falls, now the AP starts falling. So when the AP falls as a result of increase in more number of variable inputs, now MP is less than AP. See the MP curve comes below AP curve. You just have to read it. Okay. So the law states that as we increase the quantity of one input, which is combined with fixed inputs, the marginal physical productivity, that is MP, of the variable input must eventually decline. This is a statement and we have proved the statement. So the behavior of output when the varying quantity of one factor is combined with a fixed quantity of the others can be divided into three distinct stages as law of increasing returns, law of diminishing returns, and law of negative returns. See, we have seen here these three stages. So we have proved it in with the help of these graphs. Understand? Now let's understand the relationship between total, marginal, and average product curves. Okay, so observe the table and just write what you can see here. Now with the increase in the variable input, initially with the number of laborers are increased, the TP goes on increasing. See, TP curve is moving up. AP and MP are also rising, right? So long as the MP and AP are increasing, MP curve is above AP curve. Now MP curve cuts the AP curve from above where the AP is maximum and both AP and MP are equal at point H dash. You have to write just what you can see. So now once the AP curve starts sloping downwards, once AP becomes maximum, it starts sloping, it starts reducing. So the MP curve lies below AP curve. Now MP curve first it was above AP curve. Now when it cuts it at maximum point at H dash, then MP curve is below AP curve. That is what you have to write. That is MP curve falls faster than AP curve, right? So at point J dash, I'm telling you the second graph. At point J dash, the MP curve cuts the x-axis. Can you see that it is cutting the x-axis, which means that at point J dash, MP is 0. So at this point, TP is maximum. See up J dash to J. So at point J in the first graph, the TP is maximum. So when MP is 0, TP is maximum. Now after MP becomes negative, TP starts falling. Understand? So TP starts falling when MP becomes negative. This is your next interpretation. So getting my point? So you have to write just what you observe. Now let's understand, let's describe these three laws. That is law of increasing, diminishing, and negative one by one. That at up to what point it is increasing, from where it is diminishing, and from where it is negative, and why. I'll tell you with the help of an example. So listen carefully. Okay, it's very interesting. Now, let's understand law of increasing returns. Now, in this stage, the TP increases at an increasing rate up to point H. Can you see in the first graph? MP also rises and is maximum at point G dash. Second graph. And AP also goes on rising. So everything is rising in this stage. TP, MP, AP, right? So from point H onwards, during stage 1, the TP goes on rising but at diminishing rate up to point H. MP falls but it is positive, right? The stage 1 ends where AP curve reaches its maximum at H dash, where AP and MP are cutting each other. Over there, the stage 1 ends. Understood? So thus in stage 1, the AP curve rises throughout, whereas MP curve first rises and then starts falling after reaching its maximum. So it is to be noted that, here it is to be noted that marginal product, although starts declining, it remains greater than AP throughout the stage, so that AP product continues to rise. Understood? So how do you explain the law? The law of increased returns operates because in the beginning, the quantity of fixed factors is abundant related to the quantity of variable factor. So as more units of variable factors are added to the constant quantity of fixed factor, then the fixed factor is intensively and effectively utilized. That is, the efficiency of fixed factor increases as additional units of variable factors are added to it. So this causes production to increase at a rapid rate, and therefore it is said to be the law of increasing returns. Now I'll explain you this with the help of an example. Okay, so you understand it more thoroughly. Now assume that if a machine can be efficiently operated when 4 persons are working on it, and if in the beginning we are operating it only with 3 persons. Now production is bound to increase when fourth person is also put to work, agree, on that machine, since the machine now will be effectively utilized to its optimum. Understood? So this happens why? Because in the beginning some amount of fixed factor was unutilized, and therefore when one more variable factor, one more laborer was employed on the machine, the further utilization of fixed factor becomes possible, and it results in what? Increasing returns, higher productivity. Understood? So the second reason why we get increasing returns at initial stage is that as more units of these variable factors are employed, the efficiency of variable factor itself increases. So this is because with sufficient quantity of variable factor, introduction of division of labor and specialization becomes possible, which results in high productivity. So you understood why increasing returns happens at stage 1, right? Now let's understand why diminishing returns happens at stage 2. So in stage 2, total product continues to increase. See, the first stage ends at point H. The second stage becomes after begins after point H to J. From H to J. Observe that patch. So total product continues to increase at diminishing rate until it reaches the maximum point J. Can you see? So where the stage 2 ends. In this stage, both MP and AP of the variable factor are diminishing. They are diminishing. The slopes, the graphs are going down, but they are positive. Understood? So at the end of this stage, that is at point J, the marginal product of the variable factor is 0, J dash. It cuts the x-axis. So stage 2 is known as a stage of diminishing returns because both AP and MP are continuously falling during this stage. So this stage is very important because the firm will seek to produce in this range. Okay? Understand? So let's understand this law of diminishing returns. So once the point is reached at which the amount of variable factor is sufficient to ensure efficient utilization of fixed factor, then if you further increase in the variable factor, which cause MP and AP decline, because the fixed factors then become inadequate related to the quantity of variable factor. You understood? So continuing from the above example that we took, when 4 men were put to work on the one machine, optimum combination was achieved. Now, if the 5th man is put on the machine, his contribution will be nil, right? In other words, the marginal productivity will start diminishing. So the phenomenon of diminishing returns rest upon the indivisibility of the fixed factor. Now, what is the meaning of indivisibility of a factor? Means that due to technological requirement, a minimum amount of that factor must be employed, whatever be the level of output. So therefore, the AP of the variable factor diminishes in stage 2 when the fixed individual factors is worked too hard. You understand? So that is law of diminishing returns, where AP, MP both are declining. Now let's understand the third stage, that is law of negative returns. Now you can guess why it is negative returns, because your MP is negative now, because MP cuts x-axis at point J dash where stage 2 ends. So stage 3 begins after point J dash where MP is 0. So now MP is falling, it is below, so it is negative. So you can guess why it is called negative returns. So in this stage 3, TP declines. TP is declining. See, after J, it is the slow, it is coming down. So TP declines, MP is negative, AP is also declining. So this stage is called stage of negative returns since MP is negative. Understood? So as the amount of variable factor continues to increase from 6, 7, 8 to the constant quantity, to the constant fixed factors, a stage is reached where TP declines and MP becomes negative. Why? This is due to the fact that the quantity of variable factor becomes too excessive related to the fixed factor, so that they get into each other's way, with the result that total output falls instead of rising. So in such situation, a reduction in the variable factor units of variable factor will increase the total output. You understand? So you have to now start decreasing your variable factor, because now you know that your variable factor are in excessive to fixed. So the smart product producer, what will do? He will start reducing his variable factor so that he achieves his, he increases his total output. So at this point, he comes to know that where he has to stop, where he has to reduce, where he has to stop using a variable factor, where he has to reduce variable factor. So this law helps him to understand all these things. Understood? So let's understand, let's conclude it. So the greatest productivity is at the end of stage 1. You understood this? The greatest output is the end of stage 2. Therefore, stage 2 is idle because there is balance between productivity and total output. So, the conclusion is a rational producer will never produce in stage 1 and 3, but will produce in stage 2, where both MP and AP of variable factors are diminishing. At which particular point in this stage, the producer will decide to produce depends upon, of course, the prices of factors of production. Understood? I hope you've understood this law of variable proportions. This particular law is very close to my heart because it's very interesting, and I've made you understood with the help of an example as well. So if you don't understand, look, you don't expect yourself to get it in a one watch. You will have to watch it again and again. So it's a plus point that it's not a lecture going on live. It's a recording so that you can replay and watch it again and again. So that's a plus point for you all that online lectures are going on. So I believe that you will watch it and study hard, and whatever difficulties you have, I'm always